Well, good morning, my friends. Your old pal Jordan the Lion coming to you live from Sevilla, Spain. We have a big day today. Today you could call Palace Day. Days with Jordan the Lion begin now. So here's our destination. We saw it the very first night. And unfortunately it has maybe the longest line I've ever seen. So we're gonna have to go stand, and it's probably about an hour. It goes all the way around here and all the way around the corner. And it keeps going and going, and all the way down there it keeps going. And going and going and going and going and going and going all the way back here. Well, I hate to do it, but I decided just to pay an extra 10 euros to join a tour so I can skip all this line. I'll probably just ditch the tour once we get inside. This is the Royal ALCAZAR of Sevilla. So the tickets to get in are $11.50, and then they charge you $10 on top of that for the tour. But like I said, I think 10 euros. I think 10 euros is worth it to skip this line. Give me my hour of my life back. We're back! We're back to the front! Well, here we go. We're going in. This castle was originally built 28 centuries ago, and it was part Arabic, which is what this wall comes from, that dynasty, and then the Christians built this wall. So here we go. And also, a lot of these bricks were repurposed because in that culture, in the Muslim culture, the Islamic culture, they believe that only God is eternal, so that all these things can be reused. Not meant forever. Now we're going to the Hall of Justice. Now they say that the Christians actually built this because they added on to what the Muslims had already done. Wow. Beautiful. Now the reason this is called the Hall of Justice is because this is where they said the Emir would, or the Khalifa would administer justice from. You can see here there's very, very faint decoration still here on this wall. So the reason there's so many fountains in Islamic culture, they said, is because they believe water is life, and so they wanted to use it as often as possible. So what's interesting is this palace is the oldest and longest standing palace in Europe, and so this is considered technically the home of the king when the king is in, or was. However, they said that it's very rare that the king would ever stay here, mainly because it's such a money maker for tourism. It would be very inconvenient. Wow. So right here you might see there's a stage. It's because they're having a flamenco festival in Sevilla right now. So this is one of the festival performance spaces. Now we're going to the audience hall. Now this middle coat of arms was Christopher Columbus's, granted to him after he returned. Now they also said that how it all kind of started for Columbus was that, you know, obviously he believed that the world was round. So he went and started trying to find different countries that would invest in his exploration. And so Ferdinand had 2 of the kingdoms, I believe, and Isabella had a couple of the other kingdoms, and they ended up marrying, joining together, and funding Columbus's trip. And so that ended up making Sevilla actually one of the wealthiest cities in the world, because once he discovered America, even though they didn't have access to it for like 30 years, they said that all of the wealth and everything went through Sevilla at that point. All the tobacco, all the gold, anything that would come from the Americas and go anywhere else, it would all have to go through Sevilla. Now in this altar piece, this painting, it depicts the Virgin of the Sea, and this bald guy right there, is Christopher Columbus. So they said in 1929 they decided to have a big expo, and that's what this room was renovated for, and that painting depicts. But the city ended up going into a ton of debt because of the Great Depression. They thought people from the Americas would come over here and visit, and nobody could. So they said that the city of Sevilla was in debt from this in 1929 until 1982. Now, one thing he was just telling us is that when we visited Christopher Columbus's tomb, they said he didn't want to be buried in the ground because there was alkaline in the ground, and so he wanted to be buried where we saw him. And they said so every year on May 31st they open it up and let people view Christopher Columbus's remains, and they said he basically looks like a mummified raisin, you know. All right, now we're moving on. Wow, take a look at that. What a beautiful palace. So this is the Palace of Peter, and we're going to be going in there next. All right, into the Palace of Peter the First. Now this tiling is all Islamic. Now apparently Peter, whose house this was, decided at one point he wanted like a one government, one tax system, one everything, so people, well, the other palaces revolted and ended up assassinating him, and the person who assassinated him was his very own bastard brother. Now this is called Doll's Palace because if you look, you can find doll heads built into it. And if you're a maiden and you find a doll, you will find a husband, they say. Now this is known as the Chamber of the Catholic Kings. Take a look at the coat of arms up there. You notice all the marble? Just a sign of wealth. Wow, look at this. Now this is the royal bedroom, even though there's no bed or anything. Wow. Oh, wow. Now this is known as the Garden of the Concubines. Now that dome in the ceiling is meant to represent the world. And they said that when Peter would have an important decision to make, he would make it in this room. Look at those doors. Those are huge. Now look at this wall. All the tiling and everything. It's so amazing. Now we're going upstairs. Wow. Wow. This is a beautiful room. Look at all that. Wow. Look at all that. So much detail. Wow. God, what a beautiful room. Wow. Now this is known as the party hall, apparently. Ah. Wow. Now look at the floor.
You guys see these two columns and the plus ultra there? Those two columns, they represent not only the symbol of the exam, they also, the two columns, the columns of the ladies represent, they were located in the Strait of Gibraltar. So his currency had to be accepted by force everywhere. And the symbol that he used in this currency was the two columns of Hercules and that banner together. In the future, this symbol evolved.
Oh, wow. That's like a big tapestry, like our big rug. Wow, these are just incredible. This is the tapestry hall. And of course we know that this is commemorating the voyage of Columbus and discovery of quote-unquote the New World. Here on the map you can see Naples. We've been there. Alright, we're heading out to the gardens. And that is actually the coat of arms of Portugal. These are the oldest gardens in Sevilla.
He was the one in charge of the outdoor decoration of the palace.
Wow! Wow, those suckers are huge! We gotta go look at all that art in there. Fortunately, you can't walk over there. They have it closed off, but we can certainly look at it from here. Well, our tour is officially over, but we are going to roam the grounds and roam the rest of the palace that we haven't seen yet. And if you look over here right in the dead center, there's Poseidon. Yeah, unfortunately no such thing as a clean shot when you're taking a very popular tour of a place. Right here in this fountain is also Poseidon. Let's go check this out up here. There's a face in this one down here that kind of looks like an ogre. Well, let's go see what's in here. Kind of cool to get to see what would have been the a king's palace, you know. Oh, take a look at this. I gotta come a little closer. I gotta see this. I love this kind of stuff. It is seriously no joke. You could absolutely get lost in this place. You need about 3 hours here. But unfortunately, making videos doesn't allow for me to spend 3 or 4 hours anywhere. Look at that! That's a minotaur smoking a pipe. That's almost like a joke. There's a unicorn. Alright, we're gonna start working our way out of here now. We have some other stuff to do today. This was great though. I generally really hate coming to places this crowded, but when it's something this popular and it's, you know, one of the main things to see in the city, sometimes we have to. I don't know what we just walked into, but it is about 1,000,000 degrees cooler in here than it was outside. Spain in the summer is hot. Oh, look at that. I want to go up here. This is where everybody was walking over top of the grotto. Oh, this is nice. Just stumbled into this. I don't know that if I spent a whole day here, I would still be able to see it all. Because even though I have a map, I'm not sure where I've been and where I haven't. Great place to spend a day though. You know, culture's a funny thing. When you're here in Spain, they talk about Christopher Columbus as a bona fide, maybe the greatest hero of all time for this country. And yet if you go to the United States, many times you'll hear people say he was the devil, he was the spreader of disease, killer of natives, and everything else. So it's just, you know, kind of perspective as to where you're from. All right, I think we've just about finished. Yes, this is the exit. Oh wow, but we have to look at that. All wood carved. All right, who's up for some lunch? Whew, I am. He's out here painting. Well, that was one honey of a tour. Probably more information than I could absorb at one time, but it was great. Well, knowing what I know now, and considering that I paid $11.50 for the admission plus 10 for the guide, was it worth it? Absolutely. It's so freaking hot out here, plus that line was insanely long, and I learned things I didn't know before. Now I'll tell you a little bit about this building behind here, because I didn't know about it, and I just learned about it on the tour. So this originally was the merchant place, this big building, and now it's called the Archivo General de Indias. What's interesting about this, and we're not going to go in because you can't see any of this stuff that I would love to see, is that here they house almost all of the documentation throughout history for the voyages. So one of Magellan's original maps and route is in here. Christopher Columbus's writings. They said thousands of whatever you would call like the map. Hello. And speaking of dogs, wonder how the Joster is. My jaw. There you go. All right, now we're heading off to a part of the city I haven't been to yet. Hi, Mr. Horse. So I want to see another kind of historical landmark that I was recommended when I first got here. It's only a few minutes away, and I figure we'll find somewhere to eat along the path to this new territory we haven't been to yet. Yeah, so far I've only had a pineapple juice today. Now this is kind of neat. Can you see up there? There's like a black angel coming off the side of the building up there. Pretty cool. So I was actually right over by our next stop, and I popped in to see if there were any kind of like restrictions or rules or anything, and they actually told me they're closed for a private event, so I have to come back in like 2 hours. So we'll get something to eat and then we'll come back. And look at this area, isn't this beautiful? So this is where we ended up. This is that time of the day where a lot of places close, but I found a place that had a pretty good looking menu and that's open, so ordered some lasagna of all things. Well, there's my starter, the sangria, and I ordered a tapas of meat lasagna, and also they have this really great potato salad that I've had at another bar, and I noticed in their refrigerator I could see through the glass they had it here, so I ordered it here as well. I'll show you. There's the potato salad. So as I was waiting for my food, I looked out and saw this plaque up above this Grand Bistro, and I did a translation, and what it says is in the ingenious novel by Miguel de Cervantes Saavedra, the same man who did Don Quixote, says that he mentions this street as being one of the 3 things that the king must win in the novel Riconet y Cortadillo, which I thought was pretty cool. I wanted to show you. So it would be this street that he mentions. How cool is that? See, here's our literal translation. And my food. Wow, nice. Oh yeah, that's excellent. It's great lasagna. All right, well, we're done eating, so we might as well take this pathway to our next destination. You know, since it was written about by Saavedra. Kind of an odd thing to notice, you know. I was just in Mexico like 3 weeks ago. They love Don Quixote there. They're obsessed with the whole thing, and so then I'm sitting there getting ready to eat, look out the window, and there it is. I've been seriously toying with the idea of buying one of those black like bullfighter hats. I've seen a couple of people wearing them, and I've went by a couple of equestrian stores and saw them. I'm like, man, that'd be awesome. That'd be flashy. Well, check this out. I saw this last night when I was out roaming around, but it was a little too dark to put on camera. Kind of a cool statue. It's this girl reading and all these books she's surrounded by. Little rubber duckies. Look at that guy lounging. Look, the little mouse is looking up at her while she reads. And then her book, look, has a little keyhole in it. Isn't that cool? This is awesome too, I love this. So we're headed now, and probably where we'll end the vlog is something that was recommended to me the first day I got here. They said it's a really great viewpoint of the whole city, and they say it looks like a big mushroom. So let's go see the big mushroom. That's kind of cool. As I was walking, I heard an American voice say, "Are you vlogging?" I looked over, I said, "Yeah," and he goes, "You should go to," and he named the place that we're going to right now, and I said, "That's where I'm headed." It's pretty cool. We may get very little respect in the United States, but whenever I leave the United States and somebody asks if I'm vlogging, I just go, "Cool, man, that's awesome." Wow, take a look at this mural on the wall as I was walking by. I've never actually seen this. On both sides there's like a little box. See that? It's like on both sides of this thing. I'm not sure what the deal is with that. There must be something, some sort of connection. All right, let's continue on. Oh wow, take a look at that. All the stuff along our way. Interesting. And then here's a statue to Juan Martinez Martones. Pretty cool. Do you see the figure of, looks like praying Mary in his hand. And then I love the things that are along the sides, all the little details along it. Here's a Sevilla herb shop. You can just stop in and buy herbs. Notice quite a bit of this. People selling them in the streets, and I kind of enjoy that. Walking around and getting to smell fresh herbs in the air. The side of this building, or the side of this part of this church, says Cordoba. Almost went there. Almost went there, but I heard it was super hot right now, so I didn't. I'm gonna tell you this, I have been blown away by how wonderful the Spanish women dress, so this is just a pretty good example of what you see. Not everywhere, but looks nice. We pretty much made it over here. Now it looks like they have some sort of weird escalators that take you up. So it's this crazy thing over our head that we're gonna somehow get a good view of. They're pretty proud of this. Look at that thing. Wow. So it's called the Daze de Seville. Let's go see what it's all about. Now I do see a stairwell inside the structure. I don't know if we're allowed in it, but I do believe they have concerts and things like that underneath it. Yeah, there's a lighting rig, so I could definitely see them having concerts here. Pretty interesting. They even have a little park here for kids. Right over there. Yeah, they definitely have a stairwell that goes up there, but I don't see anybody up there, so I wonder if it's only for special occasions or what the deal is. Yeah, I would agree this is a pretty cool view of the city. Well, we're gonna call it a day here, guys, because we are going to start another vlog that you'll see tomorrow, and it'll be your last full day here in Spain. So Thank you Ralph Alessandro, Christy O'Brien, and Diane Riley for making contributions to my channel, and thank you all for watching. I hope you guys have enjoyed what you've seen of Sevilla. It's heaven. You should definitely come check it out for yourself. Now come see me tomorrow when you see how we wrap up today, our last day in Sevilla, and tomorrow morning we take off for London. Have a great night and goodbye.